Think about the last time you met someone new. It could be a colleague on Zoom, someone at the party, or a new neighbor. And within seconds, you already have a feeling about them. A gut instinct. A quiet but firm instinct pops up in your head. Smart, awkward, arrogant, narcissist, trustworthy, fake. That feeling felt like an absolute truth, right? Like an immediate, intuitive download of who this person really is. Well, what if I told you that this feeling is a carefully constructed lie, a personalized story whispered in your ear by your brain so fast and so convincingly that you never ever thought to question it. So this video pulls back the curtain on the hidden mental shortcuts behind that feeling. So we will dig into the ancient survival programming that creates this instant verdict and show how this personalized lie is secretly running your life. From the jobs you don't get to the friends you never make. And most importantly, we will dive into the tools to see right through it. Most of time, you already know. Instantly. You meet someone and somehow inside of you there is already a conclusion about the person. You feel whether you trust them or not. They're genuine or fake, whether they are annoying, arrogant, mystic, narcissist, weak or dangerous, boring or interesting. And it doesn't feel like an opinion, it feels like a fact. This video is not about why people are good or bad, and not about psychology in a usual sense, and not about fixing yourself. It's about something much more uncomfortable. It's about the illusion that you are seeing people as they are. Let's be honest about how it usually feels inside. You don't experience yourself as someone who judge, right? You experience yourself as someone who notice the objective fact. You are not trying to label people, you are simply reacting as who they are, to what's in front of you. Someone speaks and you already know if you respect them. Someone looks at you and you already know if you like them. Someone behaves in a certain way and the conclusion feels immediate and justified. And if someone feels clear, we don't question it. We don't slow it down. We don't examine it. We just trust it. And here is a simple question. If people as they are, why do different people see the same person so differently? Why one person can feel warm, caring, kind, and inspiring to someone, and the same person would feel irritating, arrogant, or manipulative to someone else? Why can one person seem confident to one person and superficial, narcissistic to another one? Why can same behavior feel charming in one context and offensive in another? If perception was neutral, this wouldn't happen, but it does constantly, which means something subtle but very important happens before you even think about it. So when you are meeting another person, you are not starting from the zero, and you are not blank observer and counting raw reality. Something inside of you is already active. Before any conscious thought appears, your system is already sorting, filtering, recognizing something familiar, and this recognition happens faster than language and reasoning. It's not who is this person? It is what category does this belong to? And once the internal category is activated, everything else follows automatically. And you notice what confirms it and you miss what doesn't. So you interpret neutral behavior in a specific way. And then you say, I'm just seeing what's there. That's subjective. That's who is this person. That's what's his behavior about. And that's the part most people miss. The reason your perception feels so convincing is not because it's objective, but because it's familiar. So your nervous system is exceptionally good in recognizing patterns that it already knows how to deal with. So certainty doesn't come from truth or objective reality. It comes from recognition. And when something fits into already existing internal structure, it feels obvious. And what feels obvious feels unquestionable. That's why you rarely doubt first impression. That's why your reactions feel natural. That's why it feels like common sense. But familiarity is not the same thing as reality. So here is notice something else. Not all people trigger you. Not all behavior irritates you. Not all personalities bother you. So your reactions are very selective, right? Very specific types of people activate something in you. Very specific traits feels unacceptable. Very specific behaviors feels instantly wrong, which raises an uncomfortable questions. If this were just about them, why does it only happen with certain people or certain category of people? Why exactly these traits? Why this tone? Why this kind of presence? People don't affect you randomly. They touch very precise internal points. This is where repetition begins, even if you don't consciously notice it. So when internal filter stays invisible, it keeps doing the same job. You meet new people, but the same conclusions appear. You enter new situations, but same reactions arise. You change environment, but same dynamics return. It feels like life repeating itself, and it feels like people are always like this. But what actually keeps repeating is not the world outside, but the lenses through which you perceive the world outside. And as long as the lens feels objective, nothing changes, and growth is often misunderstood. It's not about becoming nicer, it's not about suppressing your reactions. And of course, it's not about pretending to be more spiritual or understanding or accepting the situations that brings up some emotions or trigger you. Real growth begins when your perception becomes flexible, when instead of constantly concluding, you can pause, when instead of certainty, there is a curiosity to get to know the real person behind, when instead of I know exactly what it is, there is a space to notice how you are seen, which lenses you are wearing right now, through which patterns you analyze this person, this behavior, this situation. And that space is where freedom begins, because you take responsibility for the way you see the world, you see the patterns, which keeps repeating the scenarios through which you analyze people around. And again, it's not, don't get me wrong, it's not about saying that all people are good, but it's about analyzing and noticing the lenses through which you see the world around you, and if it's serving you or not. And here is uncomfortable truth. The qualities that irritates you most, that feel immediately unacceptable, that trigger rejection or contempt, those usually mark the boundaries of what you can hold inside of yourself. Not because they are wrong, but because they haven't been integrated. What you reject in others often points to something you haven't allowed yourself in your internal range. And until that range expands, perception stays rigid. So here is the question I want to leave you with. If people are here not to show you who they are, but to show you who you see, not to expose their flaws, but to reveal structures of your own perceptions. And once you see that, you don't need to fight people, fix them, or judge them. You start seeing differently. And from there, pointing inside, you learn about yourself. But that's what we're going to talk about in the next video, because other people are the best mirrors of what you have or haven't accepted in yourself, which part of yourself you still didn't integrate, how to learn from this, how to grow from this, how instead of judging other people, see which parts of yourself you just need to heal, you have to integrate, you have to see the beauty of it. So it has nothing to do about outside world, about other people, but about you. And when every person become like an actor of your movie, where you understand that it's not about him or her, it's not she is bad in this situation or he is narcissistic, but it's parts of you that through this person tried to say something to you. So leave comments if you're waiting for the next part, which questions do you have, and see you in the next video.